Okay, grade 5 in 5 minutes for AQA English Language, paper 2, question 3. This is the language question, and it's really similar to the language question that you'll have done on paper 1. In fact, the mark scheme is very similar. The aim of this video then is to go through step by step, put your tail down, how to answer the question and to eliminate all the fear and anxiety out of it. If you haven't downloaded the resources yet, you can do that from mrcrawfordenglish.com/revision. The best way to use the video is to use the resources alongside. So, the language question then, it's question 3, not 2, as the PowerPoint might say. All you need to do is identify language techniques that help you to answer the question. You won't have a mini extracts like you did in paper 1. You'll be asked to refer to the whole of one of the two sources. You'll be asked to write about how the writer uses language for effect. It's a 12-mark question. We're going to spend no more than 15 minutes answering this question. The mark scheme is exactly the same as on paper 1's language question and should be a really straightforward question. So the steps then are very similar to paper 1. Identify the focus of the question in the source. In this case, it's how does Nightingale use language to make you, the reader, feel positive about the impact of nurses. We're going to annotate some quotes that help us to do that. Hopefully you'll have done that at the start of the exam when you had your sneak peeks. This won't be a shock to you when you get to this question. And then it's a case of determining which is the most judicious, which is the best quote that you've highlighted that helps you to explore the positive impact, of nurses from within the source, which is the quote that's got the most techniques or the most things you might be able to talk about. So I would pause now and go through steps 1, 2 and 3. Identify the focus, find your quotes, choose the best one, make sure you label the techniques as well. So, assuming we've done that then, I've done it too. The quote that I found was this one. The first crusade has been fought and won to bring real nursing, trained nursing to the bedsides of cases wanting real nursing among the London sick and poor. You'll notice that I've identified some techniques as well. There's the metaphor in there of the crusade and the connotations of that as well. We've got the repetition of the sick and poor and the repetition of trained nursing. And we've also got the connotations. We can explore connotations as a technique in their own right. What do the words sick and poor make us feel? What do they make us think of? That would be a useful thing to bring into this as well. So structuring the paragraph, it's going to be a what, how, why paragraph, similar again to paper 1. What does the writer illustrate to us about the positive impact of nursing? How do they do that? The quotation with the words or techniques. Why do they do it? What does the writer want us to think or feel about the impact of nursing? Remembering, of course, that language doesn't have to be metaphors and similes and personification and hyperboles and all of those things. It could just be the use of an interesting word that makes you feel a certain way. Try as well in your analysis not to use the word shows. Try and use words like are on there, implies or conveys or highlights or reflects. That will help you to sound a bit more academic in your writing. So, how might this look then? The what part, the writer uses language to highlight the impact of nursing. You'll notice that I've stuck to the focus of that question. I've then embedded some evidence. Nightingale exclaims that the first crusade has been fought and won to bring real nursing, trained nursing to the bedsides of cases wanting real nursing among the London sick and poor. There's the quote. The why part then, Nightingale's use of a metaphor demonstrates her pride and satisfaction in the positive impact that nursing has. She compares getting nurses out of the homes to the sick and poor and accommodating these nurses to a crusade, which is a vigorous campaign often associated with the military. This highlights the fight that Nightingale has fought. The fact that it has been fought and won allows me to really see the positive impact perfectly. The fact that I've said that it shows me something, it makes me feel something, it makes me see something, helps us to get the marks for effect because it's had an effect on us. You'll also notice that I've used a subject terminology like metaphor in there as well. The sick and poor, here I'm squeezing the orange now, getting a bit more juice out of it. We don't want to use 30 different quotes when we can just use 1 or 2 and talk about several techniques from within it. Don't just leave a quote with one technique talked about. Talk about as many as you can because that's going to get you the marks for detailed, which is going to help you hit the grade 5 in the exam. So here's that part. The sick and poor are the most vulnerable in society, and so Nightingale's repetition of these adjectives echoes the positive impact created. Prior to her work, these people would have received little, if any, help at all. Nightingale brings these people to the forefront to exemplify the positive impact on the reader. Notice I've talked about 2 techniques there, 3 in total now for this quotation, and I've also talked about the positive impact again, which was the focus of the question. I'll explain the effect. I've used some subject terminology like metaphor and adjectives. I've squeezed the orange because I've talked about the techniques, and I've used words words like echoes and allows instead of the word shows. See you later, Arch. So pause now, a really straightforward question, have a go at doing it, use the quotations that you found in the example paper or use one of the other papers that I've provided as well. You can send me your example responses, info@mrcrawford.co.uk, I'll happily take a look at those for you. So give it a go, download all the resources, use them to your heart's content, practice, 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 and you can head to the website for more resources for different questions as well, mrcrawfordenglish.com/revision, and follow me on Instagram for daily revision updates at Mr. Crawford ENG. Laters.